Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. Seriously, thank you for clicking in. God bless you real good. Okay. Buckle up because today's story, whoo, it's coming straight out of Hope Fellowship Church in Frisco. And let me tell you, it's a roller coaster. Imagine a big, beautiful church family, and then boom, something heartbreaking happens. Yeah, it's one of those stories that grabs your chest and doesn't let go. But wait, before we dive into all that drama and emotion, if this is your first time here, hi and welcome to the fam. Don't forget to hit that like button. Go on, I'll wait. Subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and drop a comment below to share your thoughts. I read every single one, and I love hearing from you. All right, ready? Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, Hope Fellowship Church in Frisco. Yeah, they've been hit with a double whammy this week. So imagine this. Their head pastor, John McKenzie, the man, the myth, the spiritual anchor of that place, suddenly steps down. Just like that. No warning, no slow fade. Boom, gone. People were shook. I mean, this guy wasn't just a preacher. He was a pillar, a voice, a father figure to many. So when the news dropped, you could practically hear the collective "what?" echo through the congregation. But hold on, lean in, that wasn't even the biggest twist. Because just when folks were still trying to catch their breath, the church leadership sent out a letter this week, and it dropped a bombshell that made jaws hit the floor. I'm talking about a surprise that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. The kind of news that makes you reread the letter like 3 times thinking, wait, is this real life? And trust me, what's in that letter? It's got people talking, praying, crying, and asking a whole lot of questions.
Hope family. This has been a difficult and painful week for all of us. Walking through uncertain times can feel overwhelming, but we have found comfort in grieving together. And in the midst of our sorrow, we hold fast to this truth. God is faithful, and He is still good. We have experienced God's grace and love throughout this week, and we are thankful for your prayers. We know many of you have questions about what has happened and about the future for us as a church. As we have learned more information, we are prioritizing processing together as a congregation. So we want to share with you more details that may answer some important questions. On Sunday, John McKenzie confessed to our leadership team of sensual sin and moral failures. His confession was in response to the discovery of previously unknown secret behavior. John himself recognized that he was no longer qualified to serve as a spiritual leader of Hope Fellowship. We are walking alongside the McKenzie family as they are processing this new season of healing in their lives. And we are walking alongside the other affected parties we are aware of at this time. We have become aware that John was responsible for multiple breaches of our collective trust and his pastoral responsibilities over several years. However, we are unaware of any minors that were involved in these moral failures or any reports that have been made to law enforcement by any of the parties involved. Because we are committed to integrity, we have consulted with local authorities. And, should we learn of any reportable offenses, we will immediately report them to the proper agencies. You may be wondering why past sermons have been removed from our website. To some of you, this might feel like yet another loss. As a staff, we are not trying to erase history. Rather, we are intentionally taking time to center the needs of our staff and our congregation. And we know that these past sermons may be viewed differently, with the fullness of the information we have now. At the time they were preached, we learned key principles from Scripture through John's messages. But now, we would be viewing these teachings through the lens of current circumstances. Searching for signs of John's sin in the midst of past messages is not going to lead to our healing. We are choosing to lean into what helps our church heal now. This weekend, we will worship together, process what we have learned this week, and grieve together as a family. We invite you to join us in person or online. One thing is clear. While this has taken us by surprise, it did not catch God off guard. Our mission remains unchanged: to invite everyone to follow Jesus and to help them move closer to the center of God's purpose for their lives. That is who we are. and that is what we will continue to do, together. Although these have been heavy days, we have been overwhelmingly encouraged by the volunteers, staff, and church community. We will continue to serve, and we call you to join with us as we move forward. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 4:8-10, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body." You may feel pressed, perplexed, or struck down. But don't believe the lies of the enemy. God has not abandoned you. As Philippians 1:6 reminds us, "And I am certain that God, who began the good work within you, will continue his work." We grieve together, we hope together, and we trust God together. We love you dearly and look forward to being with you this weekend. With love, Angela Linz and Aaron Alexander, Executive Pastors/Co-Interim Lead Pastors.
So here's what happened next. The church leadership sent out a letter, and not just any letter. This one was signed by two new co-interim pastors, Angela Linz and Aaron Alexander. Yup, new faces stepping in during a storm. And in that letter, it revealed that Pastor John Mackenzie had confessed to, brace yourself, sexual sin and moral failures. Not just a one-time slip-up, but secret behavior that had been going on over several years. Can you imagine the shock? People reading that line and just freezing. Phones dropping, mouths open, some crying, some angry, some just numb. Because this wasn't just a leader. This was someone they trusted with their souls, their families, their prayers. And because of all that, John Mackenzie said he no longer felt fit to be a spiritual leader. He stepped down not just from the pulpit, but from the position of influence, of guidance, of shepherding the flock. It's heartbreaking. It's messy. It's real. And it's got the entire Hope Fellowship community reeling, reflecting, and trying to figure out what healing looks like from here.
So after the initial shock of Pastor John Mackenzie stepping down and the confession of sexual sin and moral failures, the church leadership didn't stop there. They went deeper. In that same letter, they revealed something that made hearts sink even further. They said they discovered that John had committed multiple breaches of our collective trust and his pastoral responsibilities. That's not just a slip-up. That's a pattern. A betrayal of the very role he was trusted to uphold. Now here's where things got tense. People started wondering, were kids involved? And the church addressed that directly. They said, as of now, they haven't found any evidence that children were involved, and no one has come forward with any official reports to the police. That gave some comfort, but the weight of the situation still hung heavy. But here's what I respect. The church didn't try to sweep anything under the rug. They said, we want to be honest. So they've already spoken to the local police, just to be transparent. And they made it clear, if anything comes up that needs to be reported, they'll do it immediately. No hesitation, no cover-ups. It's a painful chapter. One that's testing the faith, the unity, and the resilience of the Hope Fellowship community. But it's also a moment of reckoning, where truth, accountability, and healing have to walk hand in hand.
Now, if you've been following Hope Fellowship for a while, you might have noticed something strange. All of Pastor John Mackenzie's old sermons, poof, gone from the church's website. And naturally, people started asking, wait, are they trying to erase history? But the church responded, and honestly, their explanation was thoughtful. They said, we're not trying to hide anything. Instead, they're taking a moment to pause, to reflect, to protect the hearts of their staff and the entire church family. Because here's the truth. With everything that's come to light, the confession, the moral failures, the broken trust, those old sermons hit differently now. What once felt like spiritual guidance might now feel confusing, even painful. And the church believes that digging through those messages, trying to spot signs or clues of his mistakes, won't help anyone heal. So they've chosen to focus on moving forward, on rebuilding, on creating space for restoration, not rehashing. It's not about denial, it's about protecting the journey toward healing. So now, after all the shock, the sadness, the questions, Hope Fellowship is doing something beautiful this weekend. They're inviting everyone, yes, everyone, to come together, to worship, to talk, to grieve, to just be in the presence of God and one another. Because let's be honest, this has been a heavy season, a gut punch. But the church wants to remind everyone of one powerful truth: God is still in charge. Even when leaders fall, even when trust is broken, even when the path forward feels foggy, He's still the light guiding the way. And their mission? It hasn't changed. It's still all about helping people follow Jesus. That's the heartbeat. That's the anchor. The leaders also shared something encouraging. They've been feeling a wave of support. From volunteers showing up with open arms, staff holding each other up, and the community leaning in with love. It's been tough, yes, but it's also been tender, real, redemptive. So they're asking everyone, don't give up, don't pull away, keep serving, keep showing up, keep moving forward together.
The letter also offered some powerful comfort straight from Scripture, the kind that wraps around your heart when everything feels heavy. From 2 Corinthians, it reminded everyone that even in the middle of pain and confusion, we are not crushed, not abandoned. God is still near. And from Philippians came a beautiful promise: He who began a good work will be faithful to complete it. That means this story, this church, this healing journey, it's still unfolding, and God's not done yet. Hope Fellowship is walking through a tough season, no doubt, but they're choosing honesty over silence, healing over hiding, and unity over isolation. They're leaning into grace, truth, and the mission that brought them together in the first place, helping people follow Jesus. If this video spoke to you, encouraged you, or gave you something to think about, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below to share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Let's keep the conversation going.